All right, today we're diving into a really cool piece by genealogist Robin R. Foster called Hunting for Treasures at the Joliet Public Library. And it tackles a problem that, let's be honest, every single one of us who's ever tried to build a family tree has run into. What do you do when that digital trail just goes cold?
You know the feeling, right? You're on a roll, deep into your family tree. You're clicking away, adding names, dates, and then, bam, you hit a brick wall. The online databases have just, well, they've dried up. It is so frustrating. So what's next? Where do you even begin to look?
Well, the answer probably isn't where you think it is. It's not on some obscure website, and it's probably not in another DNA kit. The key, it turns out, might just be hiding in a place most of us have completely overlooked, a place just filled with real, physical records that have never, ever been scanned.
And this quote from the author Robin Foster really just nails it. She says, "One of the greatest divides in genealogy is the distance between us and the resources that a library has, which cannot be found online." She's pointing out this huge gap, right, between our online research habits and these amazing resources just sitting there, waiting in local libraries. She's basically saying when you hit that digital dead end, these physical treasures are absolutely worth the trip.
So this whole thing is also a really personal story. Picture this. As a kid growing up in Joliet, Illinois, Robin Foster spent tons of time in her local library, but she never once bothered with the local history section. Sound familiar? But now she's a professional genealogist, and she's come back with a mission to find all the history she missed and maybe, just maybe, find her own family hiding on those very shelves.
Okay, so the treasure hunt officially begins. Let's dive into the first discoveries that caught our eye. We're talking powerful, totally unique resources that are pretty much entirely offline.
So the very first thing that grabbed her attention was this set of 19 big, colorful binders. And what was inside? Funeral programs. Specifically, programs documenting the local African-American community. I mean, can you just imagine the incredible wealth of history packed into those pages?
And let me tell you, these programs are an absolute goldmine. Why? Because they're not just a simple record of a death. Oh no, they often have these rich, detailed biographies. They list parents' names and sometimes whole lists of extended family members. For a genealogist, this is like finding the master key that can unlock an entire branch of a family tree.
Next up, she stumbled upon the obituary index. Now sure, the library has an online index for more recent years, which is great, but the real prize, especially for older research, was sitting right there on the shelf. Physical binders with indexes going all the way back to 1909. If you find a name in one of those, boom, you have a direct path to finding the original newspaper article on microfilm.
You know, one of the biggest holy grails in genealogy is just putting a face to a name. It's one thing to have a name and a date on a piece of paper, but seeing a photograph, that's what makes a person feel real. And a fantastic place to look for those photos, you guessed it, yearbooks.
And Robin Foster shares this just wonderful little story about a moment she saw right there in the library. She watched a brother and sister who looked about high school age find their own mother in an old yearbook. She said it was so fun to watch them. And isn't that just it? That's that perfect, joyful spark of connection that really defines this kind of hands-on research.
All right, this next part is where we get to the real heart of the journey. This is the big payoff, where all that searching and digging connects Robin Foster directly to her own family history in a way no website ever could.
So, this brings us to a super important tool for any researcher, the city directory. Now, most of us have used the US Census, right? But that's just a snapshot of a family every 10 years. A lot can happen in a decade. City directories, on the other hand, were often published every single year. They let you track a family's movements year by year, and they often include awesome details like their specific job or a spouse's name. And here it is, the big one. She's paging through the 1966 Joliet City Directory, and she finds her own parents. I mean, this is the exact moment every single researcher dreams about, right? A direct, tangible link to your own past, printed right there on the page. Wow.
And just look at the details she was able to uncover. Not just her father's name, Robert Foster, but his specific occupation, a mathematical statistician, and his employer, the local ammunition procurement plant. Her mom was listed right there with him. It's these kinds of concrete, personal details that just make a family story come alive. Okay, so let's be real for a second. This kind of research is incredibly rewarding, for sure. But it's not always a walk in the park. The author is really clear that some of these offline treasures are going to make you work for it a little bit.
Get this, 1846. That's the year the library's oldest local newspaper collection dates back to. Just think about that for a second. That's news from before the Civil War. So how in the world do you access a paper that old when it's definitely not online? The answer, my friends, is microfilm.
And Robin Foster is totally honest about this. She says it's difficult on your eyes to stare at a microfilm reader for more than a couple of hours. And anyone who's done it knows she's right. But her point is so important. When that's all there is, when it's the only way to find what you're looking for, you do it. And it is absolutely worth the effort.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, Robin Foster's story isn't just a cool anecdote. It's a blueprint. It's basically a call to action for anyone out there who has ever felt stuck in their own research.
And here's how you can start your very own treasure hunt. It's actually pretty simple. Step 1, figure out the town where your ancestors lived. Step 2, find that town's public library online and see what they have in their local history section. And step 3, and this is the big one, you have to actually visit in person, because that is where the real hidden gems are waiting for you.
And that really is the question, isn't it? What secrets are waiting in your family's hometown library? What incredible discoveries? What long-lost photographs? What amazing stories about your own family are just sitting there on a shelf somewhere waiting for you to come and find them?